Hello, welcome to Fletcher Farm. We're here in Southampton, Massachusetts. My name is Nicole Fletcher, and I'm the fourth generation farmer on our dairy. I farm with my brother Matt and my dad Bob and the rest of my family. We have a 80 cow milking herd with another 70 young animals here. Our herd is Holstein and Jersey cattle, so the black and whites are the Holsteins and brown ones are the Jerseys. We have a diversified dairy farm, so we also, in addition to milking our cows, we have a farm stand where we sell seasonal products that we grow here. We are part of Cabot Cooperative, so our milk goes to Cabot products, so cheese and whipped cream and butter. Most of our milk does go into the butter plant. Okay, so I unfortunately don't have any cows in here today, but this is our calving area. So when the cows are about a week and a half to 2 weeks, depending on the cow, away from calving, we move them in. They each get their own individual maternity pen. They'll get fresh bedding, so this pen is ready for the next cow. They'll get fresh bedding. They'll have their own food and water and special grain for the week before they calve to prepare them. And then when they do calve, they're right here. We'll be able to keep an eye on them and offer them assistance if they need it. It's a great spot for them to calve because the sides of the barn roll up, so they get really nice fresh air and sunlight in here. They get nice fans, so we do our best to keep them expecting mamas really happy and comfortable while they're waiting to have their babies. Okay. So at Fletcher Farm, we raise all our calves in calf hutches. As you can see, everybody has their own pen. It's sort of like a crib for a baby. They only live in these for about 12 weeks while they're on milk. The reasoning behind them having their own pen is because when they're born, they don't have a lot of immunity at all. And so they need to build up their immune systems, and we don't want them to share germs. So while they're in these houses, they get fed individually. They'll get bottles of milk. They also learn how to eat solid food like grain, and then drink water here. And like I said, they're on milk for about 12 weeks. They stay in these, while they're in these pens, they'll get some of their calfhood vaccinations. They will get their tags. And as you can see, they have the opportunity to stay inside, hang out outside, whatever they'd like to do. I love raising calves in the calf hutches because they are really warm in the winter. In the wintertime, we pack them full of straw so the calves have a nest to sleep in. In the summertime, we do sawdust and a little cooler for them. In the winter, they'll also be wearing calf jackets. And the nice part about the hutches too is that in between each calf, they can be sanitized so that we don't spread germs to the next round of calves. From here, when they are ready to be weaned off of milk, they move from their individual hutches, they move into our super hutches, which are the larger pens, and basically they learn how to share, they learn how to socialize and live in a group, and usually we keep them in a group of 4, and that group will move together as they grow up all the way till they're adults at the farm, so they'll always be together. As I said, usually a group between 2 and 4. When they're in here, they're no longer receiving milk, they're eating grain and hay and water. Once they're in here, they're in a group that they will remain with as they grow up and get into the bigger pens. They'll be in here for about a month or 2 before they move into a bigger barn and join into a bigger group. So the nice part about this is they have a little bit more room. They have the opportunity to socialize and kind of learn how to be a cow. Okay, so as the heifers get older, they move into a group pen like this. This group here are our yearling heifers, our dry cows. So a lot of the heifers in here are pregnant. In the summertime, we have some that are out on pasture, some that are in here as they get closer to calving, they move home. In the wintertime, they're all here. But basically, this is a pen that prepares them for being a milking cow, because when they're on the milking cow, they move to the other side. So basically these guys in here are getting haylage and hay, which is chopped up grass. They get grain. They get free choice vitamins and minerals, and obviously free choice water. They have stalls that are bedded with sand. So it's kind of like laying at the beach. They've got 18 inches of sand that they can get cozy in. And obviously you can see there are a lot bigger heifers in here. These guys are about a year old. So certainly you start to see some size to them in this group. And then they'll be here until they get close to calving, and when they get to be about 2 weeks from calving, they move into our calving pens, and they'll have their own individual pen. So on this side of the barn are all our milking cows. As I said, we milk about 80 Holsteins and Jerseys. You can see the 2 breeds here, Jerseys, Holsteins. On this group, they're eating what's called a total mixed ration. So because they're our milking cows, they get a really well-balanced diet here. We want to make sure they're getting everything they need. We have a dairy nutritionist that comes to the farm every 2 weeks to check on their diet. But basically what they're eating today is chopped up corn. So corn stalks that you see growing in the field, they get chopped up and fed to the cows. Chopped up grass. They get a grain mix of cornmeal and canola meal. And then their minerals are all in here, and it's mixed up nicely so that they have a nice uniform meal every day, twice a day. Again, they have stalls that are bedded with sand, so they are super comfortable. And right now when it's kind of hot out, it's a lot cooler for them. They can lay in that sand and stay cool. They have 2 big water tubs on the end of the barn, so they have all the water they could need. And as you can see, they're having their lunch right now. So this is where they live. They have the opportunity to go outside after morning milking and after evening milking. They get to go out and play in the field for a little bit. And then they're in here during the day so they can eat and rest. Okay, so this is our milking barn. It is a converted tie stall facility. We now call it a flat barn parlor. So it's 24 stalls. So we bring 24 cows in at a time. We milk with 6 machines. So the cows will come in, they'll get a scoop of grain, and then once they're in here, they'll be prepared. Their teats will be sanitized and wiped. And while the first 6 machines here are milking, the next group will be being prepared, and then the machines will switch, and these cows will leave, and the next group will come in. So we can milk our 80 cows in about 2 hours. We milk twice a day, so we milk at about 7 in the morning and 6 at night. And the cows it takes the average cow between 5 and 10 minutes to be milked. The milking itself, once they're prepared, once they've been cleaned, they let their milk down, and the whole in and out for them takes about 20 minutes of their day from start to finish. When they're done milking, they'll leave and they'll go down and out the door, and they'll be able to hang out on pasture while everybody else is finishing up. So the milk, when they're in here, the milk will travel through the line and then into our milk room to go into the milk tanks. So as we talked about in the other barn, when the cows come in, they are pre-dipped with an iodine solution. So basically what this does is it sanitizes the teat, so they'll get that dipped on all 4 teats, and it will completely cover it. It will stay on the teat for about a minute, and then it'll be wiped off. Every cow gets their own paper towel. When I milk, I wear latex gloves, so the milk never touches human hands. It's extremely sanitary procedure all the way through. The milk will come in through the lines and end up in here into our receiver jar. As it comes through the lines, it goes through a filter and then straight into this big holding tank here, which holds 1,500 gallons of milk. And these are our milking machines. So again, never touched by human hands. These go up on the cow like this. Each teat gets a liner, and the milk will travel in and up the lines. So these machines, in between every milking, the machines are rinsed, chlorine washed, acid sanitized, and final sanitized, so that the milk is as clean as can be. So this is our milk room. This is where everything is. Big milk tank and a spare tank. And we get picked up every other day. So every other day we are sending about 9,000 pounds of milk to our co-op. So when the milk leaves the cow, it's body temperature of the cow. Cow's body temp is 101.5 degrees. So we want to quickly cool that milk. So by the time it comes through the line and reaches this tank, it immediately begins the cooling process. And within an hour of milking time being completed, the milk is down to 38 degrees. And it's held in this big tank, and there's a big paddle on the inside that spins it and agitates it to keep it, help cool it evenly, and to keep the fat from separating while it's being held. So thank you very much for coming along on my farm tour today and for adopting my calves for your school year. We're really happy to have you here, and enjoy.